Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video is a what sold video. I haven't done one of these in a couple months, so I thought I would update some of my better sales that I've had in the last couple of months. This is 23 items on Poshmark only. I will do a separate video in a week that will come out that will show my best sales on eBay as well. Technically it's 23 items for each platform in each video. Poshmark, it totaled out to be $1,352 for these 23 items. Keep in mind, I sell a lot of items that are less than these dollar amounts. So these are just highlighting some of the brands and styles that are selling for decent money for me. So if you aren't subscribed and you like reseller content, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button down below. And if you like these what sold videos, as always, hit the thumbs up so that I know I should keep doing them every so often. All right, so I'm dog sitting. So I've got an extra dog here and they are playful. They're both 3.5 years old and wild. So we're gonna try and get through this video without too many distractions. But as mentioned, this is 23 items of the best or the highest sales I've had in the last couple months. Everything is over $40 and the average sale price of these items is $58. The average cost of goods for me ranges around $5. Recently, I've actually been doing a little bit better, but most of these items are not recent items. So I'm gonna stick with that $5. So when you remove the $5 average cost of goods per item, which is $115, and you also subtract the 20% off for fees, it leaves me with $966 in net profit. That is not including taxes. That is not including other small business expenses. I don't have too many of those, but just want to keep it simple. So we're going to go oldest to newest. And if you purchase something from me and you watch these videos, I'm hopefully going to capture your names. Usually I know because people will leave me a comment when they purchase the item or when they receive the item. And it just helps me know that you guys are not only watching to learn brands, but you're also enjoying the stuff I'm picking up as well. So thank you to everyone. I also, in the last couple months, did have a semi-annual sale. Every January and every July, I have a sale where everything in my closet is 50% off. And so some of these items were in that sale. I'll mention which ones those are. They still sold for a great return or they wouldn't be in this video, but just wanted to mention that. And if you did purchase something at that sale and it's not in this because it's not $40 or more, I still appreciate all of your support by watching and any purchases you make. So definitely a big thank you to everyone. All right, so first up is a pair of Lanvin ankle boots. Now I picked these up, these took 3 months to sell. And these actually sold to a viewer, Yvonne, who I've met in person. She's actually a Southern California reseller as well. And we've met, I think, only once before. And she purchased these boots for $69. And they, like I said, were only listed for 3 months. This brand I have only picked up a few times. The comps are very mixed, which always leads me to believe that they probably aren't going to sell quickly. And actually, she ended up buying another pair of Lanvin during my sale a month later. She got those for 50% off. So either way, Yvonne, thank you so much for your support. I hope you love both of these. She sent me a really cute note that she was going to just wear them around the house since she couldn't really go anywhere. But they were black ankle boots and then they had the heel, which had more of a metallic finish. And so hopefully you can wear those out someday. Fingers crossed. So those sold for $69, and then obviously all of these, they paid shipping through Poshmark. All right, second up is a handbag or a crossbody that I picked up. This was a brand named Hammett. That is Koa. That is Luna, my dog's best friend, and he doesn't know what's going on. Koa, can you sit down? Can you lay down? Good dog. My dog's over here, right there, and Koa's right here. So we're just gonna, so anyways, Hammett was a new brand to me. The comps looked great. The style is the Tony crossbody. This took a month to sell and it sold for $100, obviously plus the shipping. It had a few cents of wear, but it was in really great condition. I actually picked this up not looking up the brand because I just like the style and I could feel it was quality. And I decided if it wasn't worth selling, I would keep it myself because I don't really have like a small bag. And this was relatively thin and small, but it was worth something. So I think it's a local LA brand. Local is in Southern California. All right, next up is a pair of men's loafers. This was by a designer named Brunello Cucinelli, and I actually have something else by this designer as well in a little bit. These were a pair of loafers. I also bought the same day 3 vests, and so this designer, I was really excited to pick up all of this stuff. Now the shoes I did pay up a little bit for. I want to say I paid $15 to $20 for them, but because I knew they were in good condition and they were a kind of desirable style, kind of had an espadrille finish on the bottom of the shoes, I decided to pick them up. They were a size 9 in men's and they sold for $150. They did take 4 months to sell, but I'm happy to wait 4 months to get that type of return on an item. So definitely a designer that I've been having decent luck with and I'll continue to pick up. All right, next up was a brand that I've only picked up a couple times. And I remember when I was a new reseller, I saw a lot of people on Instagram post a lot of Flax and I just never found it. But I found 2 of them. I think 2 of them are in this list. Is there another one? Maybe that was on eBay, so that'll be in the next video. But so this was a Flax. It was kind of a rose pink color linen blouse, and this was a size 1X. This sold for $41. It actually sold in a bundle. The person who purchased actually is a viewer. So this went to Katie. She purchased 2 items and I automatically have a 30% discount anytime you bundle more than 2 items or more. And so when you remove the 30% off of each, it brought it down to $41. But this was just a really cute, perfect shirt for spring and summer coming up. So Katie, thank you so much. I hope you get lots of use out of it with the warmer weather, and it was definitely a cute, relaxing style. So next up is a jacket. It's a men's jacket by the designer John Elliott. Now I've sold this designer once before and had decent luck with it. This was actually a flawed item and I knew it was flawed when I picked it up. But because the previous item had sold pretty quickly, I decided I'm gonna give this a shot, and I'm glad I did. This took 1 month to sell. It sold for $50. The style of the jacket was the Bogota, and it kind of had this mesh exterior, which I couldn't find that exact style, but it did have a couple snags. So I noted it. I still knew in good condition, this probably would have sold for closer to $100. So $50 for this was definitely still a great return, and yeah, a pretty quick sale. So next up was a pair of Bally, B-A-L-L-Y, or Bally, I can't remember how to pronounce it, ankle boots. These were also men's. I got these at a yard sale for $3 the end of last summer, and so they took 4 months to sell for me. They were 10.5 in men's, and they sold for $40. Nothing too special, but they did have a lot of interest as far as likes and watchers on eBay. So this isn't a brand I always pick up. I do try to find similar items, and these ankle boots seem to be a pretty decent pickup, especially for $3. So anyways, next up is a jacket by a brand that I recently said I should stop picking up. It's a very hit or miss brand for me. I think the most valuable thing I've sold by this brand was $80, and then some things I can't even move for $20. So it's definitely hit or miss. This was Obermeyer, and this was an orange like snow jacket. This took 4 months to sell and it sold for $40, and it was a size 6 in women's. Next up was a bag that took over a year to sell. This was by Rebecca Minkoff, and it had a floral print to it, and it was the mini Mac, which is kind of a popular style. I have sold a variety of the Mac bags in kind of different sizes, and to be perfectly honest, if I find it at the bins, great, I'd probably pick it up, but I wouldn't spend too much for it at a thrift store because it's been an inconsistent seller for me. So this one ended up selling for $50, but it did take 14 months to sell. I thought the style was cute as far as the floral print, but I prefer not to have things take that long to sell. And I think I originally started it too high, and then I probably brought down the price a couple times. But yeah, So still happy to see it going off to and home. And like I said, I would pick up that style again for a reasonable amount. All right, next up was, I think there might be one or two things in here that I did some retail arbitrage. That is not my thing. I've only done it a couple times in the 2.5 years that I've been as a reseller. It's not my thing because I think there's a lot of risk and there can be some great reward, but you really have to know what you're doing and you kind of have to front a lot of money. But every once in a while, if I pop into a Nordstrom Rack or a TJ Maxx or something like that, and I find some stuff on clearance that I know the brands have done pretty well for me, I'll probably give them a shot if they're a decent price. These were a pair of Good American pants. They were size 16. So size-wise, I thought it was great. They were animal print, which print jeans or print pants don't do the best for me, but animal print is a fairly classic look. And I just like animal print personally. And they were new with tags, obviously. I think the retail on these was a couple $100. And so I decided to give them a shot. Now, because it's retail arbitrage, I'm not getting that average cost of goods of $5. I'm getting more of that, 10 to 20 per item. And you could go way up a lot more than that. But usually I don't take those risks. So this ended up selling for $52. It took 4 months to sell. And this actually sold to a viewer. This sold to, I think it's Brianna. And she sent me a note saying she had seen these in a video as well. So thank you so much for support, all the support, the watching and the purchase. And I hope you like the new pants. I am always keeping an eye out for Good American in my size because I've just heard such great things, but I also can't stomach paying retail. So hopefully someday I'll pick them up in my size and give them a shot. But all right, next up was a dress. This sold in the 50% off sale. And this went to someone who watches this channel, Victoria. So thank you, Victoria. This was a really unique dress that was by a brand called Co Collection. It was a little hard to figure out when the tag just said CO on it. And I kind of had to do a little bit of research to figure it out. But a pretty expensive dress, retail. I can't remember the retail prices, but I want to say they ranged around $500 to $1,000 by this brand. This did take only a couple months to sell, but it wasn't a video, and then it sold in that half price sale. So it sold for $65. I did shoot high because it was a desirable brand, but there weren't that many comps, so I just aimed high. But it had this pleating. It was black. Had a kind of a deep V-neck. There was a very minor stitching flaw at the end of the V-neck that I think anyone could repair that has basic sewing skills. But yeah, it was a size small and I was really happy with that sale as well. So again, thank you, Victoria. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you get to wear it soon. Next up was one of my favorite bundle of things that I bought last year were these caftans or these house dresses that I found that were vintage. And I've sold all of them, but I think I still have one. I picked up like 4 or 5 of them on this one thrift trip. This one I thought was actually gonna go first and it ended up being closest to last, but it sold for $62. This also sold to someone who has been a huge support of this channel from as long as I can remember. Kathy, thank you for all of your comments and kind words and support along the way. And also thank you for this bundle purchase. She had some fun things that she had in her bundle, including this one. So this, when you broke it off of the other items at 50% off, it ended up selling for the $62. It took 4 months to sell and it was just so fun to pick those up. And I'll definitely keep an eye out for some of those kind of vintage caftans and house dresses. The Ruth Norman seemed to be a brand that was sold at department stores, kind of higher end department stores. So yeah. All right, this next item took 18 months to sell and it shocked me, to be perfectly honest, when it finally sold. This was Tory Burch, which I've had mixed experience with selling. But these were a pair of riding boots and I clearly priced them too high and didn't bring down the price enough. These sold in the 50% off sale as well. And so I was very happy to see these go because 18 months is a long time to hold on to something, especially shoes, which is one of my least favorite things to store, not to sell, but to store. So these ended up selling for $56 and they did go to a viewer, which is Christine. Thank you, Christine. Thank you for finally purchasing an item that I thought was going to sell in a week. I mean, I really honestly was pretty confident and so excited to find these. I think this was a bins purchase pre-COVID, and I was just so excited to find these, and clearly I aimed too high and then they just sat forever. Not that they were bad shoes, they're very classic, but man, I'm just so glad they finally found a good home. So, all right, next up was a jacket that was by the brand or designer Erin Snow. I wasn't familiar with this designer, so it's the only time I picked this up. This jacket did have a real fur trim on it that was removable. It did have a few faint marks on it. It was kind of a white jacket or a off-white jacket. And so I just noted those, but it sold for $40. This was not part of the sale, but it was a size 6 and it took 5 months to sell, which is not too bad. So next up is a men's sweater by Rag & Bone. This was a Colorblock. I think it was a purple and gray Colorblock sweater, kind of had raglan sleeves. And this was another one that I think I priced a little too high, and I got an offer of $40. I decided to accept it because it had been setting for 10 months. And it was also kind of nearing the end of winter, or we're kind of nearing the end of it now. So I decided to accept that, and it was a men's XL. I saw some decent comps, which is why I priced pretty high, but I'm happy with the return either way. So, all right, next up was another men's item, which, you know, is not the most surprising. I don't pick up a lot of men's. I mean, I would say probably 10% of the stuff I pick up is men's, but I'm also a little more selective with it because it's not my kind of core thing that I sell. So I tend to do pretty well with men's items in general. Not all, some of them sell for 15 or 20, but yeah. So these pants took 8 months to sell and were really fun. They were All Saints, they were a velvet, and they just kind of had this patchy velvet look. Like it was a print, but it was part of the velvet. Like, anyways, I don't know how to describe it. They were a pair of velvet pants, slim leg for men's, and these ended up selling for $69. The ironic thing about these was they took 8 months to sell, but I got an offer within a week or two of listing them for $15. Really low ball offer of, I only had them listed for $69. And so obviously I declined that offer. I decline any offer that's less than 50% because I just don't think, A, if they want to raise their price, they'll usually come back with a higher offer. B, if they aren't willing to come back with a higher price, we'll probably won't be able to meet in the middle somewhere that I'm comfortable with. So yeah, I declined that and they went away. And then 8 months later, I got a full price purchase of $69 for these pants. So sometimes, you know, it's just so hit or miss, but I'm really glad that they went off to a new home. They were size 32 in men's. So next up was a Ralph Lauren. This was the purple label. I've sold the purple label, I want to say 3 times. And I always get kind of giddy when I see the label because I've just done fairly well with that specific Ralph Lauren line. I think, I could be wrong, you guys can correct me in the comments, but I think the purple line is the most expensive. It's also some of the most classic stuff. So they don't go in trends, they really stick to kind of classics. But this was a size 6. It was a white jacket. The snaps didn't snap easily or securely on a couple of the snaps, which I noted. It also had a couple faint marks on it, which I noted. And it still sold for $62 in a month. So yeah, every time I see that purple label, which I will say, I feel like I purchased something recently that was purple label, or I found something recently that was purple label, and it was kind of a lightweight tee or something. It wasn't anything super spectacular. And I looked up comps and it wasn't great enough for what it was. So I guess I haven't picked it up every time, but I feel like that might be the exception. So I still look up comps even when I like a brand because a certain style may not do well. And that kind of proved the point for me. All right, next up was, man, if you started reselling and you watched a lot of Jenna Empty Hanger like I did, she was the main person I watched when I first started. Shout out to Jenna. She picked up a lot of Show Me Your Mumu, and I never found it because I just never found it. I mean, it's different demographic from the South in Atlanta versus kind of the Los Angeles area that I thrift in. And when I found it the first time, I was just like, jumping up and down because I had seen so much of it on her YouTube videos. I have since picked it up a few times and sold it a few times, and it doesn't get a great return for me. And maybe that's just because it's more flooded and more popular and more accessible to more people. But this was a jumpsuit. This was new with tags. It was called the Boogie jumpsuit, and it was a strapless, glittery jumpsuit. I don't know how to describe it other than it was funky, and it was really also awkward to take pictures of. So my pictures weren't the best, but I tried my best. Anyways, it finally sold. It took 15 months for me to sell, but it finally sold for $51. And I was so excited to see that offer just because I had it for a while and it was just a brand that still just kind of brings a smile to my face. So anyways, really glad it's off to a new home. And, you know, with that brand personally, with the stuff I've picked up, I will pick it up at the bins, but I probably wouldn't pay full price for most items at a thrift store unless it was just super amazing, which I do remember it being in one of Jenna's videos that she said was kind of an overrated brand or something like that because of the material quality wasn't the best. So it wasn't that she was suggesting it was the best brand. She just had a lot of access to it and had a decent return on it in the resale market when, you know, 2.5 years ago when I was watching her. But yeah, so it still brings a smile on my face because I just don't see it very often, but that's off to a new home. All right, next up is a pair of silk pajamas by a brand called La Perla. I have now sold this brand twice, and they have both sold very quickly and for very good money. And I'm just like, please, let's find more La Perla. This was a pair of, I want to say, I don't have the picture in front of me. I want to say it was kind of a plum color or maroon color, something in between that. These sold for $69. It was a size large, and it was just a classic button front pajama set. And yeah, it only took 2 weeks to sell. So definitely, I think the other one was a dress, and that sold for around $60 something. So yeah, I've had some good luck with that brand. Also, if you want to see any label pictures or more details about the materials of all this, all of these are going to be in the solds in my Poshmark closet. So you can search by brand, kind of sort down by the solds and see any details you want. I'm just giving kind of an overview just to keep things simple. All right, next up, I've got, I think 5 more, is a Equipment Femme shirt. This is just a classic brand that I personally like because I feel like I would have worn this, not at retail price, but at pre-owned price a lot to my previous career jobs. This was a new with tags animal print shirt, and this was a size large, and I loved it. It actually sold to a viewer as well. This sold to Leslie, and it took a week to sell. I think she saw it in a video. And it sold for $50, which I think the retail price on this was close to $300. So I think it was a pretty good deal. And Leslie, I hope that you are enjoying it and that you've worn it a few times. It's definitely just one of my favorite styles. So, all right, next up, I actually have 2 Barefoot Dreams cardigans. One was in a video. I think one sold before I had it in a video, and then I forgot to add it in. So one was the circle cardigan. This was a size small. Both were kind of a blush pink or beige color. And the circle cardigan sold for $49, and that took 2 weeks to sell. And the Barefoot Dreams, it was the long cardigan. It had a couple pockets, and the name appeared to be long cardigan, which was actually just kind of past the bum. It wasn't that long, but that was a size large, and that actually sold to a viewer. That sold to Nancy, and that only took a week to sell. Again, I don't even think I had it in a video, but that sold for $49 or $47. So both of those really quick sales, really good return. I don't think either of these were like dollar items or anything like that, but I didn't pay up for either of them. So yeah, Barefoot Dreams, I have had decent luck with. So, all right, 2 more. This one is a Calypso St. Bart strapless dress. It had this multicolor, just really fun print dress. I just thought it was so perfect for kind of a beach vacation or something like that. This took a year to sell, so I listed it right before COVID, and then no one took any vacations. I don't know. Or maybe it was just needed to find the right buyer. But this was a size 8. It took a year to sell, and it sold for $40. So I just thought it was such a fun print, and I'm glad it's off to a new home. And then last item was a more recent item that sold. I think I just shipped it off a couple days ago. This was a pair of Lululemon crop leggings. This was the All the Right Places leggings, and they did have side pockets on them, which I rarely find Lululemon with the pockets on the side. This was a size 4. I think they were gray, and they sold for $60. They took a month to sell, and yeah, I'm definitely happy with that. So anyways, that's my what sold. That's what some of my higher dollar sales in the last 2 months have been. Again, if you like these what sold videos, definitely hit the thumbs up so I know I should keep doing them. And stay tuned. Probably not the next video. I might put a haul up the next video, but after that should be the what sold for eBay. And it's also 23 items. And actually the average sale price on those items was a little bit higher than Poshmark. So I had some fun sales there and I'm excited to share. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope everyone's doing well.